hopefully add some new roles, which will need colors as well.
Oh dear.
But I suppose that can wait. So, are we recording now? Okay. Um, yep. Whilst we do have this recording, I'll also be taking notes as usual. So to, start from the top, as I was saying, in terms of the art team, we have got the art finished now, so we can finally start implementing the XP changes. We
Mm-hmm.
still need to give it a once over to ensure the information is correct, and we should be able to at least start implementing these changes today, if not tomorrow, just depending on how busy we are. Um, the biggest change, I would say, not biggest change, but
I'm excusing myself for a minute.
yep,
Clothes
fine.
are getting wet from the rain.
Um, so this is a change I'm planning on, well, I have been planning for a long time now, but it also links to what we're doing with our website. So we plan on implementing a sort of portal that allows users to find Overlord communities around the world, whether it's in somewhere like our Discord or a
The
Japanese message board or
the
a
st the Steam thing also, or
yeah, everything. So any kind of major community that we know or recognize will be listed there, and in turn we'll be connecting them with us so that we truly do become the kind of hub for the Overlord community.
uh, uh,
Yeah, I've been talking with Ziggy regarding this actually, so and it does fall in lines with my plans. Like even I'd say a year back, I was interested in doing this, but didn't have the say not capability. I didn't have the power needed to push it through. Well, now we can. Um, so on that note, I'll be looking and asking people if they know of any communities and if they can reach out to them. There'll be certain communities that, we can only approach in a certain language, so those that know those languages will be very helpful indeed.
mm-hmm.
Um, on top of that, um, I mean, some may worry that we might be bringing a lot of attention to the Discord as well as those that do, as I said, speak different languages. For the most part, we won't, or at least we won't accommodate for them unless we see an increasing need to. And that may also have us pick up moderators that know other languages and will be moderating specific channels for those languages. But that's we'll cross that bridge when we reach it.
All right.
Let's see. In terms of what I'm doing, okay. Nation Wars. In terms of Nation Wars will. So right now it's in a situation where no one seems to really want to introduce games or ideas that we can use to kick it off.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of putting it on life support, so to speak. If we don't see any increase in activity by the end of December, I'll just close it completely and that will be it. Obviously, this won't affect the nation channels at all. It's just for the nation wars category and like the bot games related to it.
All right.
Um, let's see, anything else on my end? I'm obviously doing some smaller things here and there. Nothing terribly important to bring up right now, so I'll keep it open for anyone else that's interested in saying something.
Okay. Anything I missed? Important? Past the XP.
You didn't miss anything important. You did get the Nation War thingy with? Yeah. Did you keep listening or did you completely leave, Cammy?
I had to leave because my clothes were hanging on the terrace and it started raining.
Alright. Ainz is going to close down Nation War category unless someone brings up an idea to start it. Very shortly
Yeah.
said. So.
Okay, well, let's see. I guess I can mention the things I PM'd you.
Sure, you can bring them up now whilst I'm typing up.
Yeah, very simple. What I have to mention. One, I plan to resolve basically I plan to resolve monthly the server suggestions, basically clear them all out each month. Obviously, the really easy ones that you can just, you look at it, you're like, you already know the answer, you refuse it or you accept it. Those are easy, but the ones that need people, I'm probably gonna, at the end of each month, make sure I ping and annoy every single one of you around the table. For some that might need more than just my opinion.
Alright.
Well, the other thing that is pretty clear is that I plan to assist either Ainz or do it myself and make work on rule number 1, 3, and 4 at least, because they're the main rules we need to update, which is the not safe for work rule, the spam rule, and the one about being civilized and whatnot. Considering how, for example, suicide jokes currently are not clear in the rule and should probably just be removed from that rule because they're not the bad thing. If people are overdoing it and pushing it and running the joke through the mud, it's going to be pretty obvious and we can ask them to stop. Well, lastly, you guys remember this maze game I've been working on?
Yeah.
Well, we did delay it by 2 weeks, but essentially me and Tech just need to work on it one last time, aka do tests for the classes I've created. And it's pretty much should be done and ready after that. See if there's any changes that the test might show to be needed. And yeah, we should be able to have a consistent once or twice a month new event.
Yay.
I didn't even know it was Thanksgiving, considering it's mainly an American thing.
I got like 3 PMs about it and forgot again.
Yeah, next year we can definitely do something. Well, for this month / next month, as I said, we got the Secret Santa. We have the Nazarick mythology kind of contest, as well as the Nazarick OC contest. In February next year, we'll have the kind of Valentine's Day event.
Yep.
For other public holidays, we can come up with smaller ideas to create small either XP events or just to kind of celebrate the day, create something fun for everyone to do. So yeah, I might as well explain the Valentine's Day event since that's the only one that's kind of unclear on how that will occur. So on that day, you will be given kind of 2 options, I suppose. One is to accept a singles role, which will give you double XP for the whole day, well, I say whole day, it's more like 48 hours, since we'll start it 12 hours before and 12 hours and end it 12 hours afterwards.
Because of timelines.
Yeah. So that's double XP for 48 hours essentially.
And
We'll be reviving the kind of playroom channel in the form of a confessions channel. So you go onto the channel, you ping someone, you confess to them in some form, and if they accept, then you get the kind of couples role, which will give you an instant, let's say, as a example, 500 XP.
Flat amount of XP.
Yeah,
Basically.
you get a flat amount of XP, and then you don't get any XP bonus throughout the day. Now, those are the two primary kind of actions that a user will be able to take. We may add some joke or bonus ones, for example, if you ping too many people or you ask someone too many times and you get rejected too many times, you might get like a stalker role or a forever alone role. Like it's just, meant to liven things up.
all right.
But that's essentially it.
About Medley's issue. What was it exactly? Wasn't it also kind of about difference between mod opinions, which should be solved soon TM when the NSFW thingy is. Anyway. Make a new channel and we post the allowed pics in there.
Well, let's see. In regards to Melly's question, so we are revising the way we look at reviewing documents and the way we moderate guidelines, especially for not safe for work material. So within those guidelines, there will be a procedure with how to approach images that you think might be not safe for work, but you're unsure about, and we of command to ensure that we have a bit more clarity. And if another mod or an admin says, "Oh no, you shouldn't have allowed that," you can say, "Oh, but this person gave me permission, so speak to them if you have an issue." So on that note, I'd say wait until we kind of clarify the procedure. But for now, if you have an issue, just speak to an admin. Is that fine?
It's fine by me, but I guess we still don't. The communication between what some people allow and what some people don't allow. Like, let's say Gami allows a picture, and I think it's too risky, so I'll take action against it. And then, actually, I don't know where I'm going with this. Never mind.
Here's the solution. Instead of taking immediate action, unless the image is really pushing it, like full on nudity, that kind of stuff, it's obviously not been allowed by another staff. But if it's like a lewd, borderline, you're
Kinda
not
like,
sure and you plan to delete it, instead ping the user.
All right.
So you can get the answer out of him. Because if he was allowed, just ask him, who allowed you? That's it.
So you can double check with the person if they.
Yeah, and then you can just post them. You can post in roundtable and be like,
did you
he
allow
told
this?
me this staff member allowed me. So you ping that person in roundtable. If that's not true, well, we can punish them for lying and trying to avoid the rules. Simple as that.
And NSFW stuff. All right.
I think that's a pretty simple solution.
That's solid. Yeah, that's solid.
Just don't immediately delete the pictures. Not straight up hentai, not safe for work. That's it. And just ask the person if they were allowed. If you're unsure. Depending on their answer, You can either go to Roundtable and ask the staff member that allowed it, or you can delete it if they haven't been given permission.
Okay, I've noted that. I'm gonna cover some of the topics that we talked about last week. So let's see. The first one of interest. Okay, we decided we thought about using like VR chat or a public facing chat for our meetings, like we're doing today. In terms of the VR chat, I believe there have been some issues setting that up, so or at least
The viewer
getting
chat.
it ready. So for now, we're gonna put a pin on that idea and then add it to the backlog. Yeah. I mean, I do understand that point of view. However, there are people, as I've been told, that prefer to just listen without actually watching. So that's true. I mean, we will be accommodating to both crowds. And for us as a mod team, it might be a bit more entertaining to do. Um, so I would say it requires a bit more testing before we actually roll out with it. But again, we'll just add it to the backlog and then we'll get to it when we get to it. Yeah, exactly. So in terms of the pictures, links, memes, battleground, the rotation scheme that you were talking about last week, has there been any updates on that? Mm-hmm. All right, I mean, that's perfectly fine with me. You just need to ensure that those that will be rotating are aware of it in the first place. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, to be fair, if we're gonna do that, then I would rather extend it not just to mod channels, but to Discord in general to get a better idea of how all the staff members are in in Discord, how much time they have to spend, etc. This will also serve to help in some of the things I'm planning later on. I mean, something I won't bring up just yet, but it'll be a good way of ensuring that the mod team are doing what they're supposed to do. I'm sorry, could you repeat that? Oh, right. Yeah. Yes. So, once some of the changes that we're currently looking at doing, once we've implemented those, I'll probably just post a quick advertisement that we need one more moderator for that time zone with all the details and who to contact. And I'll probably just handle the interview myself. Mm-hmm. No, I mean certainly we'll try to ensure, especially if we do get the mod kind of timesheet created, then we can certainly see where we have gaps. Yeah. So there's nothing to worry about in that regard. Yeah. I'm just gonna reiterate it here so that people are aware. We're not going for Discord partnership. Like I've been thinking about it. It's not worth it, especially the changes that we would need to make. So I'm just saying that again. Um, and the final thing we discussed last week was regarding the rules, which Cami has already covered. We're gonna start looking at them today. So on that note, is there anything else that you want to bring up before I start talking about other kind of less important things?
Nothing much I can add right now
Hmm.
in
I
regards
mean,
to major issues.
this is a period of time when it's pretty relaxed, so I wouldn't expect too much. So whilst that's going on, as I said, so we have implemented the club's kind of change sheet so that we do know when clubs are closed, when they're opened, and any major changes that occur within them, who made the change and why the change was made, so that in the future, if a similar club is to be created, we at least are aware that something may happen or that a particular user is trying to create too many clubs. Let's see, on top of that, what else did I want to bring up? Um, the recruitment for staff in the various teams, we'll need to come up with a way that's a bit more public facing so that we can better recruit people. The web team and the YouTube team could use a few more helping hands, as well as the art team in some respects. Yes, the web team needs a primary developer. Yeah, but it's understandable. Yeah. Well, I mean, I have a small amount of experience, so I can look into stuff myself, but I don't have as much time as I'd like. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, take it easy at times too. Like, don't try and do too much. Um, which actually you reminded me about something. So, Scarves came up with a decent idea recently. And it's somewhat related to the OC contest. So there are the character sheets that Overlord uses, and we can take the template and then use that to create user profiles based on the character's level, their name, an image they uploaded, and things of that nature. Now, this might serve as a replacement for the actual profiles when you do a.mystats, or it could be an alternative that you could
Uh,
set up.
do you still have the code from Yggdrasil back when the adventure cards were a thing?
If
Like,
you're
what?
talking about whether I still have the data available, I believe I do.
not the data itself because I don't really care about it, but back when you still could choose classes and kind of level up,
Oh, I
because
see. I
because
have that system. Yeah.
is it possible to kind of refit that to make something like a customizable class for the character sheet so that not everyone has the same kind of stats, so to say?
I
Oh,
Okay, I see what you mean there. Yes, that's certainly possible, but it would require us sitting down and kind of figuring out what each level has access to and how it would work before I start
so
refactoring it.
maybe a future project if it ever
Yeah,
gets passed. All
yeah.
right.
But no, that's certainly a good idea. Um, okay, I mean, we can also discuss the recent announcement regarding the roles.
Oh dear.
So,
So
oh yeah, the Avenger teams won't go.
It's the roles that might go eventually, but we'll see.
Yeah,
let's see.
I believe you don't need the club president role, but I've said that a while ago.
s-
It's a
around
role
70
that can
people.
be removed without any issues, considering we have club bulletin board, where it also states who the president is, and everybody in the club usually knows who's joined at the time when the club was formed.
It
yeah,
seems
exactly.
70 people agree with you, so
Yeah, so through the permissions in Discord itself, we can give specific users the abilities that the club president role handed them in the first place. So we will likely remove the club president role. In terms of the adventure team roles, we may not do that. It depends. For the most part, I still want not just the staff, but users as well to come up with ideas how we can make the adventure teams work within kind of the
maybe.
bots and some
Oh,
other
it's in the
things we can
bots.
do.
Oh, alright.
Not, I mean, not just with the bots, but a way to more integrate them with the server so that they don't just feel like something tacked on.
Uh, yeah, I was maybe thinking about suggesting to like have the role itself as a reward for bigger teams, like at least 5 members or something like that. So you would cut down on like probably most of the teams, and only the bigger, older teams would still have their roles, but it's not really relevant at the moment, I
Yep.
guess.
So for the most part, and I have been looking at feedback, what people have been saying, etc. So we will increase the number of members needed for a team to 3, and at the same time, if you have less than 3, then your team will be removed. Of course, if someone leaves and then you can get someone to rejoin within a day, then we won't remove your team because that would be unfair. But if you have less than 3 members for more than a day or two, then we will remove your team. Of
Alright.
course, in all fairness, we will message you first so that you have a chance to recruit.
Um. Let's think. I want
Because
to
I mean,
say
sometimes
something.
you might not be aware, and
I forgot about something, but never mind.
but
Mm. Oh, I remember what I want to ask. How about we increase the amount of people that can enter a team to an extent, like
By
not
one.
majorly, but instead of like having what was it for you could make a team with gold. It was how many spots if you get? Let me check. At the moment, I
It
complete
was
blank.
5 members total for gold.
So that means and you can slowly increase that by. Never mind. I forgot where I am going with this. I'll come back to it later if I remember.
You mean
no,
6 members gold, 7
yeah,
members platinum.
I
Increase the capacity by 1.
understand that. However, keep in mind we
Yeah.
have hero and we have 3 ranks afterwards, so
Yeah.
that's we have to include that in the description for the adventure team requirements.
Mm.
However, I mean that's something to consider not right now since we're not most teams find it hard to fully recruit anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, you have some teams that are just so full at the moment.
Yeah. However, I have seen a few interesting ideas, like a kind of team ranking system. So you take the average members of the team, their levels, and then you round it up, and that's the
And
team's rank. And then you can use all sorts to have a leaderboard and based events. I don't mind looking into that and doing that. In terms of coding it all, again, that's something that seems fun. I don't mind doing that. It's the events part that you would need to come up with a more interesting way of implementing that.
I get, I can't think of anything at the moment. Maybe at some
It
point.
doesn't have to be on the spot. There is time.
No, yeah, I know, but maybe at some point we can use Kemi's maze and use it like for teams to an extent. Like every team sends in the
Oh
teams that
yes,
participate. That
the maze
sends in
can be
like,
used team versus team. That is no problem.
but like to make it fair, we only send like in like I don't know 3 or 4 people depending on team sizes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So we
you can
don't
get
so we
split
don't
which
have
members
like
go.
12 players at once. That would be that would be
Oh no,
a
I would
mess.
never allow that. That's a disaster to manage.
But we'll have to see about that in the future, I guess.
hmm
And everything's is in the right spot.
But I mean, to reiterate on the team thing, if as long as the members of the team are still within the server, it doesn't matter if they're active or not, because they're still part of that team. It's
Yeah.
only once they've left the team or are not in the server anymore, and we
hmm
see that the number of members have dropped below 3, then there'll be an issue.
Yes. Um, maybe as a partial solution for the thingy, to use the idea of having a team rank. If the team rank is above a certain rank, only then we will give the team a role. Assuming we delete the team roles soon, but we'll have to see about that again.
Oh, I see what you mean. So,
For
for in,
example, yeah.
John,
For example, the average team rank is, let's say, Mithril, and everyone in the team is Mithril. So, and the reward for a team role is an average team of, I don't know, Platinum. That would mean the team would get a role because they are that good. Or we would use the team leaderboard for it. So the team that's in the, I don't know, top
top
10,
10. Yeah.
something like that, would get a role.
I understand that idea, and that would be interesting. However, you have to consider that teams might start recruiting people that are only in a higher
Yeah,
rank.
that would be problematic.
Yep,
Yeah, that
it's
would be
kind of a
problematic.
downside.
Yeah. I mean, this is actually the problem with implementing this idea. This idea has been brought up, I think, almost a year ago now. And I do remember us discussing the issue of people recruiting members from lower ranks or trying to steal members from other teams.
I'm very concerned at the moment, but I have not experienced that. That was probably before my time, but
Yeah. But I mean, I'm sure we can implement that. I'm certainly interested in implementing the team rankings at the very least. It's another way of making the teams more integrated with the server, especially with
yeah,
the whole ranking system that we've got.
Yep.
make a special bot per team or something and have them with the corresponding rank or something dumb like that.
Yep.
Would be probably a waste of server space, but
Oh,
Also,
another gone. Cammy, did you have something to say?
oh, I just said certainly. I was
Okay.
just defending what he said.
Um, right, this is going away from the topic now, but I was just reminded of it. So we will have a Hall of Heroes channel, which we plan on implementing soon. It is merely a way of recognizing those within the server that have done certain things to kind of either help the community grow or have been here for long enough, things of that nature. That also includes people that are that have supported me and the bots via Patreon.
all right.
And in terms of that, we're just waiting like on art for a decent banner and some information, and then we'll have that channel and add it to the top server info category. But I think that's, let me see, character sheets. Sorry, I'm coughing quite a lot today. But to recap, since I don't believe there's anything else that we have to go over. Let's see. So the Overlord community will expand rapidly, hopefully. We'll connect with communities that speak other languages in order to help improve the flow of information and to bring more talented people, both here and elsewhere. National's channel will be removed by the end of December if there's no further input in terms of the games that we plan on using. The ranks nations is pretty much ready, so we're going to display it once we've posted all the art and we've double checked that the information is correct. The changes will be implemented soon afterwards. We need to resolve all server suggestions at the end of each month. We plan on undertaking or remaking rules 1, 3, and 4 so that they're clearer and we can implement them better with the staff guidelines. The maze event, well, it's been delayed for various reasons and it needs to be tested before it can be rolled out properly.
Yep, everything's been written down. It just needs an actual test.
Yep. We'll be using the mod guidelines to improve communication, especially for not safe for work checks, so that users don't feel there are inconsistencies with the way we deal with images. VR chat needs more testing, but it might be visually entertaining even for those that want to just listen in on things.
I actually have a question about the communication when there is a case of an NSFW image
Yep,
that
John.
got allowed by a mod. Is there a time? Should we add a time limit for responding? Let's say, like, if the other mod doesn't respond in 10 minutes or longer, I don't know exactly. Should we undertake action?
That's a good question. The actual guide itself will likely cover that, and
All
I
right.
would say like within like 5-10 minutes. If there is no response, then
Just take appropriate action according to your own.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So moving on. So we will do a mod rotation. We will extend that to mods on all channels just to ensure that we know what each mod is doing. Not what each mod is doing, but what time zones they cover and what hours they cover during the day, so that we can properly fill in the gaps. I will advertise for a new moderator after all these changes have been implemented. Character sheets for profiles will be put on the backlog, and I will start developing that sooner or later. Hall of Heroes will go up as soon as art is ready, and in terms of adventure teams, we won't remove the roles just yet, but we will plan on implementing a ranking system and potential games. So that was everything we covered. As well as adding more events for users throughout the year.
Oh,
All right.
there is one thing you reminded me of that we
Yep,
could
go
do. Christmas story time.
on. Yes, that was actually, I forgot to mention that, but that was something that someone has, yeah, brought up before. So that would certainly happen. Okay. So to answer two questions that I've just seen, in terms of how long people need to be to enter the Hall of Heroes, the requirements are still up for debate, but we're thinking those that reach hero rank will automatically be entered. And keep in mind that we are changing the XP requirements for the hero ranks, so it will be easier for others to enter. On top of that, in terms of the story, yes, so similar to the Halloween story, we'll do the Christmas story, and we can use this same event for Easter and for other public holidays. So has anyone got anything else that they want to add or bring up?
I'm good.
That's about it for me.
Okay, well, I'll give the chat a minute or two to come up with a question if there is one.
Also, I'm gonna need to get going, Heinz, as I messaged you earlier.
Yep, all right.
I think it's
Yep,
time.
thanks for coming.
All right. Take care, guys.
Yep.
See ya.
I'll see you around.
Um, I'm guessing that that question is in regards to the mango emote. So I'm gonna kind of put a pin on the idea and say that we're not going to vote on whether we remove it or not right now, and whether you believe it's an issue in terms of it being spammed, well, that's a moderation issue, and we will tackle that when we do see it. Um, yeah, like all emotes, if they're overused, then we will moderate them. Otherwise, there shouldn't really be an issue, and we'll only replace them once we feel that they're not being used enough. But yeah, I think that's it. So, like on that note, thanks for all that came to listen to us, and of course, thanks to the staff for providing their input. Yeah, as always, they can either listen to the recording or just read up on my meeting notes.
$20.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you.